Hello, music fans, and welcome back. My name is Dark Helmet, and today we're continuing our Queen concert series. We're up to the third song in our 1980 concert set, and for this one, we're going back to the Hammersmith show again in 1979, December. And this one's a number called "Let Me Entertain You," a song off the Queen Jazz album. And this one is, well, I get the impression this song was written explicitly for this purpose. Queen was smart that way. They would think, well, you go back to the movie Bohemian Rhapsody and the scene about "We Will Rock You," and Brian saying, we want to write a song that's more interactive for our audience. So I think Queen was always kind of thinking how these songs would fit in, not just to their albums, but to their live shows as well. And of course, a song called "Let Me Entertain You," I mean, what else can it mean? I mean, this number seems to be handmade to open up live shows with. And yeah, it's so the case in this one. We started out with "Jailhouse Rock," a song that many people know. It's a generational song. It's been around for a long time. A lot of generations know the song. A lot of people can identify with that one. And then they moved into "We Will Rock You," the fast version, which was invented. I'm sure many of you have seen the clip. I know it's been left in my comments, a little clip. I believe Eva had done a little snippet of it, where the band's sitting around talking about, how can we sing "We Will Rock You" at the end of the show when we've been rocking them all night long. So I think it kind of made sense that the band kind of went back to the drawing board and came up with the fast version of "We Will Rock You" to put at the beginning of the show. And I think the same thing with this song here, "Let Me Entertain You." It just seemed lyrically, it's a bit of a hype song. It's very much in the vein of opening a show up and getting the crowd involved. So let's take a listen to this one as usual, and then we'll get back to it after, and we can talk a little bit more about this one. Anyway, so here we are again, setting the scene for you. We're back in 1980. It's just before summer, or just after summer started, June 30th. We're 20 rows back, dead center. We're looking straight ahead to where you see Freddie standing right there. So he's probably going to be about 50 feet in front of us, and that's a guesstimate. I have no idea. It could be more, it could be less, but 50 feet sounds about right. So let's go from there and let's enjoy this one, and we'll get back to it right after. A good summer. I like that bass. And song number 3 down. Again, crowd's going crazy at this point. We're really at kind of peak velocity right now. And those 3 numbers are what I'd kind of call the opener. These are the songs before you really start getting into the meat of the concert, or kind of the songs or whatever album they were promoting. These were the ones that were meant to grab the audience and to get everybody focused and looking forward, and just to get into the mood and the groove of the band. And all 3 of those songs are great for that. Like I say, Jailhouse Rock for its familiarity, its generational appeal. We Will Rock You, the fast version, just for something very familiar Queen song, but a little different. Well, very different actually from the studio version and the well-known, much slower, doon doon clap. And then, of course, Let Me Entertain You, which I think is just tailor-made for exactly what it is. It's just to let the audience know we're here, we're going to put on a show, just kick back, enjoy yourself, do what you got to do, and let's just all have fun. And it just really set the mood for the rest of the evening. So it didn't matter where they went from there, whether they were doing a ballad to kind of bring everybody down, or a hype number, or just getting into experimental sounds or solos. I mean, Queen didn't do a lot of solos actually, or at least not traditional solos that you might expect, like Roger Taylor when he did his drum solo. I'm not sure, I think it might have been the 82 concert, but it might have been this one as well. But he didn't do a traditional drum solo on the drum set. He used like these big kettle drums, and he just played those, and it's magnificent. And when Brian got into his solos, it wasn't just the loud, as fast as I can play solos that you typically see from a lot of rock artists. It was very intricate. It experimented with a lot of sounds and using feedback and echo effects, and I really look forward to bringing that to you. I don't know, I'm sure many of you have heard it a million times. I know we've got some really hardcore Queen fans amongst our family here, and that's great. This is what we want. But I'm hoping at least some of you haven't seen some of this footage, and we get to introduce it to you for the first time. And another thing I noticed here is, I'd mentioned in the last video, Freddie had his mustache at the start of the show, and he didn't here. Now, seeing this one was Hammersmith at Christmas time, I don't know how long the Crazy Tour is, like how much further into the year, but I suspect not only was I probably one of the first to see Freddie play guitar on stage, I was probably one of the first Queen fans at a Queen concert to actually see Freddie in a mustache. And I remember being a little bit taken aback by it. I don't know if I mentioned in a past video or not, but I wasn't sure if I liked it or not. I mean, it hadn't become the iconic mustache that we all know and love now. Back then, it was just such an incredible change from Freddie, because I was used to him, with long hair, although it did get middle length around News of the World, jazz time. But I mean, yeah, it was, I was going in there expecting to see like Freddie in a catsuit and long hair or something, and then he came out, with much shorter hair and the mustache, and yeah, it was. I mean, it's not like I disliked it. It was just, I guess people we set expectations, and when things don't meet those expectations, it creates a feeling. It's not necessarily a good feeling or a bad feeling. It really depends on what expectation wasn't met. But yeah, it was something that I remember thinking, this is different. What's going on here? But I mean, once the show starts up, none of that really matters. I could care less. He could come out wearing a blanket and carrying a teddy bear, and I wouldn't care. I would still have had a blast. And so there we have it. We're in our what I call the opening portion of the concert now. Before we really start getting into the meat of the show. I was sent a link for one of the shows and asking me if the sets were familiar. It was a show from a little later in the 80s, and it was very close. And like I say, I tried to get more shows closer to this time, and I could have gotten shows much closer to my June 30th timeline as far as music goes, but they all have still pictures. And it just, I don't know, for me it just seems strange doing a reaction to a still picture. Even if the music's there, it just feels like a radio reaction, doing a video reaction to a radio show. I don't know, it didn't seem right. I got to do the live footage. I loved watching the band move around. To me, that's a large part of the experience is watching the band and watching the movements and how they interact together, and you just can't get that on a still photo. So again, it's not ideal. I'm not getting stuff into the night in 1980 like I wanted to. I'm not getting stuff from the actual North American tour, which I really wanted to do for 1980, but that's just the way it is. The Crazy Tour was pretty darn close to what I experienced, so that's why we're mostly going to be sticking what appears to be a large portion of the Hammersmith concert, and what we can't find at the Hammersmith concert we might have to dive into Montreal or something, or maybe even a little earlier. I know there's some pretty good footage of the 77 show in Houston. We might have to dip into that a little bit. I'm going to try to not get into the later 80s stuff because I want to save any of that for what I might need for the 82 concert set. So if we can't find what we need in Hammersmith here, like I say, we might go back to a previous concert anyways to fill in some blanks if need be. Hopefully that's not necessary. Hopefully we can find all we need right around the timeline. We're 6 months away here, so I think the band's probably sounding pretty similar to how they would have when I went. And yeah, so that's it. And another thing, again, watching the second in a row here from the Hammersmith concert, it really makes me appreciate being able to see Queen in the smaller venue setting. And again, I have nothing against the Live Aid stuff or the Wembley stuff. Their spectacles are huge. They're amazing. The band's in great form at that time. But I'm telling you, they're just seeing Queen in this setting is the way Queen is meant to be seen. Although I would love to have been in a crowd of 80,000 people. Again, the energy level and all that would be incredible. But just you can't get up close and intimate in a stadium setting like that, which you could if you were close enough. Like again, if you look at if you look at the audience there, I mean, these people are like, you're right there. Like when Freddie is in front of you, he's literally right there. And if you're at Live Aid, even if you're in the front row, you're still looking up 30 feet, and and the band members are still looking pretty small. So yeah, there's something really special, and I'm so blessed to have seen them in this kind of setting. Myself, like I say, if I could ever go back in time and watch a live show, I'd probably go back to like 73 Rainbow or one of the early Hammersmith shows. Any of the smaller venue settings is where I would go personally. I wouldn't go to Wembley. I wouldn't go to Live Aid. Nebworth would be interesting because it was the last show perhaps for its significance. But I think if I had to pick one, I'd probably go back to mid somewhere between 73 to 77. I think would just be fantastic to see them. And I think that's probably because my favorite Queen music is 70s Queen music. And when I went to see them, they were mostly playing their 80s stuff, starting with The Game and moving forward. I've mentioned before, like for example, I never saw Somebody to Love performed live. I wish I had. It's always been one of my favorite songs, even before YouTube, even before everybody else fell in love with the Montreal show and Somebody to Love. Off the albums, it was always one of my favorites. Like Freddie, I agree with him. I think Somebody to Love is on par with Bohemian Rhapsody. I think Freddie himself thought Somebody to Love was a far superior song to Bohemian Rhapsody, but he could just be being modest as well. Who knows? So there we have it. It's 3 songs down. Again, thank you very much. We're going to be back tomorrow with number 4. I am going to do another short reaction after this one for support for my son. He's gone and done himself another little dance video, so I'm trying to be a good daddy, and I'm going to review that one as well. So if any of you want to check that one out and maybe give him a like or a comment or something, he gets very excited, and it really motivates him to improve his own little show. And yeah, I mean, he got up to his 5th subscriber on his channel, and you should have seen him. You would think he won a lottery. It's just, and of course it just fills me with pride when he's so happy and he's so motivated to do things like that at 6 years old. So anyways, like I say, if you want to check that one out, that'll be coming along shortly. If not, don't worry about it. No pressure. But this is just what we do as parents as we try to support our children as best we can. So till tomorrow, or until a little bit later today, thank you again. Look forward to bringing you more. Next song up soon. Take care. Enjoy your day. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.